2 years ago, if you went into a full room of people and you asked them about AI, they would have probably told you that they were pretty excited about it, right? And this year, that number is down to 1 in 5. And more than half of the people now say that they're getting sick and tired of seeing everything AI online.
You are listening to Head of the Algorithm, the podcast for business owners who refuse to be one step behind. I'm your host, Julia Mann, AI expert, marketing strategist, and someone who has built businesses the hard way so you don't have to. New episodes every week. Let's get into it.
Okay, let me tell you about a woman that I spoke to a few months ago. She runs a small business. She's been at it for about 8 years. She's actually really good at what she does, and she had done everything the internet told her to do. It's a fashion brand for kids online. And she had all the tools for writing the social media posts for her. She had posts turning them into like little snippets, even using her AI voice. Like she was very advanced. Then she had her email set up and everything went out with a timer. And I actually even built her one of those little chatbots that you can put on a website about 5 months ago that she still uses today. And they're great because they answer people's questions right away when they're looking at her website. So on paper, she's utilized AI and she's built like this dream. The business pretty much ran itself, you would think, from the outside. You probably imagine her sitting back and relaxing and sipping a coffee whilst AI is doing all the grunt work for her. But underneath the whole thing, when the time was that I started working with her, the whole thing was actually falling apart because hardly anyone was actually liking or replying to her posts. Her emails, half of them were not even open and they were still sitting there after 6 months with people being completely unaware they ever received an email from her. And the inquiries that were coming through from her website, they really slowed down as well. And she just couldn't work out why. And because she was putting, out more content than ever and it was all automated, she didn't understand what was happening. So yeah, she was putting more out and was getting back less. Funnily enough, she then told me at the time that I started working with her that one of her clients had actually replied to one of those emails. And she said something like, "Hey, are you okay? These emails, are they coming from you or are they like written by someone else now? They feel very impersonal. I just wanted to check if you're still there and everything is okay, or has the company been sold? Let me know what's going on." And that's kind of the bit that got me because it wasn't a stranger that told her that. It was the client who knew her best. And that person was telling her that she kind of vanished from the business or thought that she might have vanished. The tools and the systems and processes that she created had taken away so much of her actually personally creating things that it didn't sound like her anymore. And she didn't notice it because she thought she set it up once and she just left it and forgot about it, but other people noticed. And you know what? Most of the time, people will not let you know why they stopped buying from you. So she was lucky that she had one of her friends point that out because that was the day that she started changing and thinking about changing more. So obviously AI is literally what I do for a living, right? And a lot of what she has built or had built was stuff that she learned online and she had built because of a person just like me. She didn't learn it from me, but from other AI influencers back at that time. So today I'm going to kind of say something that probably sounds a little bit strange coming from me as an AI person. A lot of you need to use AI a lot less, but only use it in the places in your business where it actually matters. This is so funny because I predicted this. I don't know how many months ago at the time of this recording. I would say probably 3/4 of a year. I made a video and I said I would not be surprised if people are getting sick and tired of seeing AI content on social media, specifically when it comes to selling stuff or reviewing things. But AI has gotten so good now, obviously, that you can't really tell the difference. And this is why social media accounts or platforms now have the little toggle that you need to turn on or your content may not be shown. You need to be very transparent if you are using AI. I predicted this, and I also predicted that at some stage, us as humans, we need a tick to verify us human, and then AI accounts either going to be shut down if they say they are human but they're not, or they have a different color tick or a cross or whatever. I predicted this a while ago, and this is exactly the point of this podcast. Now, of course, I'm not here to tell you AI is bad. That would be silly of me because it's literally my business. I am not one of those people who has suddenly decided the whole thing is rubbish and we should all throw our phones in the sea. I use AI every single day, multiple times a day. I run a big chunk of my business with AI. I would not give it up, and I would not want you to give it up either. But there's a difference between using AI and hiding behind it. And a lot of business owners have actually crossed that line without even noticing because nobody warned them about that line, that was something there in the first place. So think of this as me pulling you back just a step. Someone who genuinely loves this stuff. I'm telling you about this stuff every day. It's brilliant. But where it started costing you is the one thing where your whole business now is running on, which is people trusting you and you are being the face of the brand. So let me paint you the picture of what has been going on out there, because it explains why the lady has gotten that email. For about 2 years now, the whole business world has been shouting one bit of advice. Let machines do everything. Take yourself right out of it. Get the tools to write your posts, write your emails, make your videos, talk to your customers, and off you go, feet up, have a glass of wine. And that was the dream that everyone was selling. And plenty of people bought it, me including at that point, maybe like 2.5 years ago. But here's the problem. When everyone grabs the same few tools and lets them write everything, it all starts to sound the same. There's actually a name now that people use to call all those tools and what they pump out. It's called AI slop. All that means is stuff that looks fine, it reads fine, no spelling mistake, but it says absolutely nothing, and there's no kind of personality behind those posts. And I'm sure you've seen it. They're posts that seem very intelligent and they are made really nicely and the scenes are changing fast. But when you get to the end, you haven't actually learned much or felt anything at all. It didn't evoke any emotions in you. So I think for a while, people could feel that there was something off, but they couldn't quite name it. Now they can. It's slop. And this is the bit that matters for you and for me. Regular people, your customers, they've got an eye for it now. They can smell it. They notice when your writing is a little bit too smooth and a bit too perfect. They do spot the video, or so I hope, where the mouth and the talking doesn't quite line up, although it does become a lot better, so that's the scary part. But they can most certainly tell when the caption was written by someone who's not actually ever done your job or is not you. So once the people can spot it, the way they feel about it changes, and the way that they feel about your brand changes as well. Half of the room being, keen, dropping down to about 1 in 5. That has not happened because people decided AI does not work. It has happened because they are worn out from being sold by machines all day long. There's even proper research this year showing more than half of the people are what they're calling AI fatigue, which is just, a fancy way of saying people are getting tired of AI. They're getting tired of being everything AI shoved into their face. And the good chunk of people now say that they would rather buy from a business where they can tell that there is a real human with a real personality and flaws behind it. Now, I just want to kind of reel it back, because this does not mean in totality that every single customer is going to sit there and checking if the email was written by a robot. Or the people most likely to notice that something is different in your business are your regular customers. They are the ones that know, like, and trust you. So they know if something is not quite right. So anyway, that's the ground where we are stood on now. So now let me get into what that means for you if you're running a business, because there is a right and a good answer here. And it's not chuck all the tools in the bin. Here is what I want you to do and how to picture kind of your business for the rest of this chat or this podcast. Split your business into 2 halves in your head. There is the behind the scenes half, right? Which is the stuff, the bits and pieces that your customers never actually see. And then there is the front half where you come into play, where you are there and you're the face of the brand. I feel right now AI does not belong into the front half, unless that is the purpose of you teaching AI. But if you are a business owner that has nothing to do with AI education. You don't need AI for the front end. AI belongs behind the scenes. It's there and it's brilliant behind the scenes. And honestly, that is where I want to be using more of it as well and not less. But, the problem is your customers aren't paying you for the behind the scenes stuff. They're paying for the front end. And the front end has to stay you. So the behind the scenes stuff half is where you need to lean into right now. This is all the stuff nobody sees. Sorting through the people who get in touch so the right follow-up goes to the right person, for example. Letting someone book a call with you if you're a coach or consultant and send a link out automatically and start almost like an email campaign without having to go back and forth all the time to find the right calendar booking. Chasing up a quote you sent 3 weeks ago and then it has gone quiet. Or taking a long video such as this one that you made and then pulling a week worth of little posts out of it. It's called batching, or like creating micro content. Getting a rough first draft of something, or doing research, tidying up really messy stuff, analyzing documents. And none of that is the front of your business. Nobody picked you because your booking link worked really nicely. So let the machine do that part of your business and let it do that well, because it does. And this is generally where AI gets me back 10, 15, and sometimes even 20 hours per week, which is insane. And then you have more staff to create stuff in the front end, the second half of your business. But it's crazy to me because when I start working with people, I can see how much of that back end stuff is still done manually by so many people, and some people even hire other people to do the back end stuff. AI can literally replace or make people more efficient, because we don't like to talk about replacing. But if you are a business owner working on your own, you certainly don't have to hire anyone for the back end stuff right now. So let AI handle all the boring stuff, and then you can spend more time in the front end. So you need to, kind of change your train of thought there. So the front end, this is the part I really need you to protect, and that I'm really working on myself right now as well to protect. This is your actual voice in the things that you put out, the story that only you can tell, because you are the one who lived it. The message back to a customer who's upset or nervous or not sure yet, or, a video recording where you look down into the camera and you tell people whether to trust you or not. The moment where a client has been with you for many, many years and you send them a message and they feel like, wow, I'm really feeling cared about. This is the sort of stuff that if you are recording yourself, really is you, and this is where you need to hone into right now. And that is the whole reason a person picks you instead of 10 other businesses that are doing exactly the same thing as you. And here is what I think people get wrong. When you hand that part over to a machine right now, you're not just saving yourself a job, you're giving away the actual thing people are buying. They trust you, they like dealing with you, and then you take that away and hand it to a computer, and you have not made your business run smoother. You have actually removed the reason people came to you in the first place. And I believe that unless you have such a good chatbot set up that knows your brand voice like no other, which is sometimes a bit of a process, and this is what I help people with, obviously. Unless that chatbot is perfectly done, I would still say just email personally. Send a video recording, send a voice message, and that is really, really important to get them in the first place. Now, someone listening might be thinking, Julia, that is easy for you to say. You have the time, I do not. If I do not let a tool post for me, I will not post at all. And I hear you. I really, really do. I am not saying write every single word yourself by hand at midnight and never touch a tool. That is not doable. And it's absolutely not what I do either. I use something that I created myself, which is scraping all my competitors. It's creating content. I then go in and I tweak it. But it gives me the ideas, the suggestions, and it reminds me to actually film it or write the email. I always go in and I read over it. It's not about creating something and then blindly posting. You always have to go over it again and re-inject that personality. However, like I said with a chatbot, if you are very, very good at creating your own brand voice and you're basically AIing yourself, which is not that easy to do, it might take you a few days to set it up. then by any means get that automated. But I like to always kind of overview of what is posted and what I'm posting, because then I feel like I'm putting energy to it, and that energy goes, that's where energy flows. So I use AI to get me started. I automated that process instead of having to come up with new ideas myself every day. And I work with that, and that's completely fine. And that is using it, as a tool. So that's really the whole thing. Use the tools, but don't let the tools take over, and don't hide behind them. Right. So we've done the why. Now let me give you something you can actually work with and take away for this week, because I do not just want this to be a nice idea where you nod along as you're watching it, or you are listening to it on Spotify and then forget by dinner. Here's a little job I want you to do. Go back over the last 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and have a look back on every single post, every single email, every single message that went out if you are using an AI tool, and then tell me what worked and what didn't work. Don't tell me, but maybe write it down for yourself. Then read it back as if you were your own best customer, the one that has known you for years, and ask yourself one honest question about each thing. Does this sound like me, or does it sound like anybody? If a stranger read it and you took your name off the top and they wouldn't have a clue who you are, would they know that you are a real person? Or would they not know that a specific human made it? Or could it have come from literally any business in the world? Anything that could have come from anybody is AI slop. And that is the stuff that is eating away all the trust that you have built up for years. Now, you do not have to bin the tool that made it. You just have to go back more involved, create your own brand voice, and teach and train AI how to sound like you. So put your voice back over the top of it before it goes out the door. And then do the second half. Look at all the behind the scenes stuff, the chasing up the people, the booking, the sorting, and all the main admin stuff. If you are still doing loads by hand, now is a good time for you to change that and look at tools that can help you automate things. And this is where AI would come in very handy. So if you just do those two things, you will already be ahead of most of the people in your line of work, because most of them are running in the exact wrong direction at full pelt. If this was helpful, please make sure to leave me a comment, maybe even a little review on Spotify, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. Say hello and leave me a comment below. And if you would like to have a look at the show notes, I have a few freebies along with my tools library that has all the latest and greatest tools that I actually use myself in my businesses. So until then, I'll see you next time. I'm Julia. Stay ahead.